Hello, I'm Alicia, aka Rhapsody, and welcome to my channel. I'm looking particularly horrible at the moment because this is a get ready with me video. Today I'm going to do my whole makeup routine for you. Not that anyone's really, clamoring to see how I get my fantastic look or anything like that, but I just wanted to share what I do to get ready, and if you have any suggestions to better it, they would certainly be appreciated. Obviously, I'm not a professional. Everything I know I learned from YouTube myself, but this is, what I've culled together as my makeup routine and what has worked for me thus far. So the first thing I do when I get ready is I add a moisturizer. The one that I typically use is this. This is from Bare Essentials. It's vitamin infused moisturizer. And honestly, I use this because my mother-in-law gave it to me, and it seems to work fine. Seems to work fine as a moisturizer. However, I don't really like the smell of it. So there's that. If anyone has a suggestion for a good facial moisturizer to put on before your makeup, I certainly could use it. I haven't been able to figure out anything else, so this is what I use for the time being. I give that a minute to sink in. Now, I am still pretty new to YouTube, and I haven't figured out all of the tricks when it comes to my editing software, so I don't know how to fast forward. So I will just be cutting out large portions. That you don't need to see, so as not to bore you to tears watching me apply foundation or whatever. So you'll see me start to do it, and then we'll jump ahead. You'll get the idea. Alright, now that my foundation has kind of sunk in, the next thing I do is I take a concealer. I use Maybelline's Fit Me Concealer in number 10, which is the lightest shade. And I just place that. My skin has a lot of little dark spots, blemishes, and I just try to even it out. So and then I'll put just a little bit under the eyes as well. Now, I have nothing on in terms of makeup, except I do have a little bit of eyeliner because I went out earlier today, and the one thing I can't stand to do is not have eyeliner on if I go out. So I'll go out with a horrible complexion, that's fine, but I have to have eyeliner. And by the time I'm done with all my foundation and everything, it will be all covered up, I suspect, anyway. Now, often I use a sponge wedge to blend in my concealer, but really my fingertips work just as well for this step. Alright, next I'll add a primer. Usually I use Maybelline's Baby Skin as my go-to primer. It's cheap and everyone seems to like it on YouTube. That's what I've been pretty much going with all along. But recently I got this Radiant primer from Ipkin, New York in my Birchbox, and I tried this the other day and I really kind of liked it, so I'm going to use this again today. And this looks and smells like lotion, but my makeup seemed a little less cakey after I used it, so good deal. And I just, I don't put my primer everywhere. I kind of put it wherever you can see visible pores and wherever I'm most concerned about wrinkles, because I'm at the age where I have to worry about that stuff. So I have the most visible pores on my cheeks and my chin. And then I have the most visible lines on my forehead, and oddly enough on my nose. I don't know why. It's because some kind of family curse, I don't know. set for just a moment. Now I'm ready to move on to my liquid foundation, and the foundation I'm using is Kat Von D's Lock-It Foundation. This is in, I think the number is 42. It's the lightest shade. Until recently, I was using L'Oreal's True Match Lumi, but I found that this is in 01, which is their lightest shade, but it was still really too dark for my skin. So then I had bought a completely white foundation, this Manic Panic Dream Tone white foundation, and started mixing the two to get a better coloration, which worked. But this is incredibly runny. It's really thin, and this is barely a medium foundation to begin with. So when you mix the two, it became very thin. So after Christmas, when I finally had some Christmas money, I went ahead and splurged and got myself the heavy duty Kat Von D full coverage Lock-It foundation, and the lightest shade is quite light, so it works well for my skin tone. The only downsides I've found to this foundation, one, the smell. When you start putting it on your face, it smells just like paint. It's like putting paint on your face. And the other thing is that if you use a little bit too much, just a tad more than you ought to, it will start caking up, so you have to be very careful. So the way I put on my foundation, and I guess everyone's different, but this is how I've been doing it since I was a teenager, so for a very long time, is I just kind of put dots of it all around my face, and then I blend them in together. And I'm not a beauty blender convert, I just use a cosmetic sponge. Alright, and once I've got that kind of blended out, then I set it with powder. The powder I use is Rimmel Stay Matte. This is in the lightest shade that isn't translucent, which I think is called Natural. And you can see I use the hell out of this. I never hit pan on anything, but I hit pan on this, and I've already bought a replacement, so I don't wind up without it. And I'm not going to tell you what kind of brush I'm using because I don't use fancy brushes. This is just an e.l.f. powder brush. Alright, after I've done that and set my foundation, I will go back in, and this is NYX's Wonderstick. It's for cream contouring. I used to use this to contour my whole face, but I really didn't care for it that much. I found that I don't like cream contouring in general. It tends to give me zits. But the one thing that I still can't live without this for is my under eye area. I have major problems with darkness under my eyes, and the light side of the Wonderstick is the only thing that just truly brightens them up enough. So after all that, I will go in and put down cream contour just to brighten my under eye area. And then I will blend the hell out of it. Now, of course, I have to be careful at this point that things don't start to get cakey. Once I'm done blending that in, I go in again and set that with a little more powder. And I don't feel like this is my perfect forever routine for under the eyes. There's something better out there, I just haven't found it. So this is the best I have for now. After that, I go to my brows. I use Maybelline's Brow Drama Pro Palette. I have a separate video on this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time telling you about it, but basically I just try to tidy them up. If I need to, I'll pluck any hairs that I need to as I go. Alright, so that's the brows, you know, very simply done. And if you want to know more about this palette, I'll leave a link down below so that you can watch the whole demo of it. And now I'm on to contouring. This is NYX's contour palette, and I have, you know, kind of personalized it because everything is better with a zombie girl on a toxic cupcake. Why not? And inside I've also personalized it a little bit. I've changed out a couple of the shades. Some of the warmer shades I purchased cooler ones to replace it with. So I'll start by just applying a little bit of the highlight. I'm using Bone, which is this shade. It's a lighter shade than any that actually come preloaded into this palette. I purchased it and added it in myself. It's kind of a true white. And I try not to put too much on my forehead because I find it accentuates the lines, but everywhere else that needs light, I start off with just a nice flat white highlight. And now I'll move on to contouring. I'll start with Sculpt, which is one of the standard choices you get in the NYX contour palette, and it's a pretty light contour shade, and that's what I use for the kind of bronzing effect around the hairline. And I am by no means an expert on contouring. I just kind of do my best. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the next darkest shade, and I rearranged this palette because it wasn't exactly from lightest to darkest the way it was initially arranged, so I rearranged it and wrote the names on the bottom for ease of use. So I started with Sculpt. Now I'm going to Toffee, which is another standard one. It's a little bit darker, and I'll blend it out. And I do like a heavy contour. And basically, if I had, you know, cheekbones you could cut cheese on, if I were razor thin, I probably wouldn't need so much contour, but it's doing the work for me that I didn't do on the treadmill this week. Alright, after Toffee, I'm going to dip into Sienna, which is another shade I went ahead and purchased myself because it's a nice kind of taupey color, useful for cool skin tones. And I'm going to, you can see that's dark. And I'm just going to blend the hell out of that. And if you feel like you've put too much on, just keep blending until it doesn't look that bad. Now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to pick up just a little bit of Sculpt, that lightest of the contouring shades, and give myself just a touch under here because I have no lips and I want to make it look like I do have some lips. And I'm also, this is supposed to make your nose look more even. I don't know if that's the case. And I find in those small areas, just blending it out with my finger works just fine. Alright, and finally, I've seen videos, everyone says don't use a really dark shade to contour under your chin, but I'm very self-conscious about under my chin. I am going to use Hollow, which is quite dark, and create a jawline for myself right now. And you can scream, "Oh my God, Alicia, don't do it," as you watch. That's fine. And this is an e.l.f. bronzing brush. Just blend the hell out of it. Alright, so I'm pretty much sculpted for whatever that's worth, and then I will do my blush. I don't really use traditional blush. The thing is, I have a lot of natural redness in my face, and I spend so much time trying to get that redness out of my face that I can't imagine trying to put pink or rosy tones back into it. But I do like kind of an ethereal, kind of purple glow. And I keep trying to buy purple blushes and it never works out when I get them. I ordered them online, they come in, they don't look right. So what I typically use for blush, this is actually an eyeshadow. This is Kleancolor Airy Minerals in the shade Jealousy. It just looks like this. I got this for $1 on Shop Miss A, and it's a load of product, and I just pick up a little bit on my brush. And then I tap it. Oop. Tap it. And that leaves me in need of shimmer, because everyone needs shimmer after all. And what I've been using recently is the NYX Strobe of Genius palette. And I do have a full video swatching this out as well that is much maligned. I will leave a link should you care to see that. And what I've been using from this palette lately is, I'll take this nice kind of lavender shade and bring that here, and then this nice champagne, a little of that over the top on the Cupid's bow, and the tip of the nose. Alright, that's my face, and now I'm ready to actually put on some makeup. And while I'm applying my eyeshadow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, this is just Maybelline's Baby Lips. It's just a lip balm. I'm going to go ahead and apply it so that it has a chance to sink into my lips and moisturize them before I put on my lipstick. I haven't really decided what I'm doing in terms of eyeshadow today. I always kind of try and do something a little bit different, but whatever it is, I'm probably going to need some eyeshadow primer, so I'm going to use Urban Decay's Primer Potion. Alright, I've made a couple of decisions about what I'm going to do in terms of eyeshadow. So I think I'm going to go kind of sparkly. So today I'm going to toss a little of, this is Fyrinnae's Pixie Epoxy. It's a sparkle adhesive. I'm going to toss a little of that over part of my eyelids as well, because it's going to really bring out the sparkle in some of the eyeshadows I'm going to be using. They're loose mineral eyeshadows. Alright, and I'm going to start out with just a little highlight in my inner corner, and I'm going to be using, this is Kat Von D's Thunderstruck, which is kind of a metallic cream. And then for this kind of purple look, I'm going to aim for, I'm using a bunch of indie cosmetics. This first one is a sample I have of Darling Girl Cosmetics Lucky 13. I'm just going to place a strip on either side of that highlight, as you can see. The lavender with a lot of sparkle in it, with almost a gray base. I know you're not supposed, everyone says you're not supposed to stretch out your eye, but because it causes premature wrinkles, but I've been doing it since I was 14, so that boat has kind of sailed. That's just how I do it at this point. So now that I've got those two colors down, I'm going to blend them together with a little bitty blending brush. And next I'm going to be using Dawn Eyes Cosmetics Foam, which is another kind of lavender with a lot of sparkle, but this one's just... My cats are so bad. So bad. Shame on you. It's actually brighter. Which is nice. It'll give the illusion of light on the center of the eyeball. As you can probably see, this one is super sparkly. And I'm blending. Right, next I'm going to add Do You Like Scary Movies, which is from Darling Girl Cosmetics. It's from their Queens of Horror line, and it's another sparkly purple. Just do a little row of it here. I don't know about anyone else, but I probably am just completely uncoordinated. But I can't do a makeup look with loose eyeshadow without getting it on my face. And I'm blending. And next I'm moving on to another indie brand. This is Virus Insanity, and this shade is Trick or Treat, and it is a very, very dark kind of iridescent purple. This one's going to go on the outer edge and all over my face. I'm also bringing this into the lower lash line, and now I'm going to blend it out. Alright, and now I'm going to take, this is Too Faced Midnight Mist. This is from their Exotic collection, which is discontinued and I got for very cheap on All Cosmetics Wholesale. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the lower lash line right here for some nice iridescence. And because I can't leave well enough alone for a little added contrast, I'm now going to go in with Urban Decay's Evidence, which is in this smoked palette, and put that in my crease. And now I'm going to kind of blend out the edges with Wet n Wild's Creme Brulee, which is my go-to blending color. And if it looks like I'm using the same brush for everything, it's because I just am cleaning it in between each eyeshadow. Finally, I'm going to go back to Kat Von D's Thunderstruck and use that as my brow highlight. And this is incredibly expensive eyeshadow, but it is so versatile. Alright, and now I'm going to throw a little bit of Urban Decay's Perversion in my lower waterline. And I kind of vary up what I do in terms of my eyeliner, but lately, since I've been able to get my hands finally on Inglot's gel eyeliner, this is just the best gel eyeliner in the world, so I've been using this. So opaque, and it stayed. Alright, now I'm going to touch up my inner corner highlight because I always screw it up when I do my eyeliner. And then I curl my eyelashes And this is Subversion Urban Decay's eyelash primer, which tends to go on quite clumpy, unfortunately. So I let that sit for a minute, and it's time to wipe off the lip balm on my mouth. Something I've been doing lately, because I'm constantly trying to make my lips look like they're there, is I've been trying to do some ombres. So what I'm going to do today is, this is LA Splash's Ravenclaw, which is a very deep red, and I'll put that on the outside and then just put a bright red in the middle. Alright, while that dries, my mascara primer should be dry now, so I'm going to go ahead and apply my Perversion mascara. And I don't typically do a lot, just like one coat. And now back to the lipstick. I'm going to go in, this is Makeup Revolution's Attract Salvation Velvet Lacquer. And I'm just going to put this right in the center. And then I'm going to go around the edges. I'll go around the edges with NYX's lip liner in Y2K, which is a good match for this darker Ravenclaw color. And then I take e.l.f.'s lip definer in Shaper, and the defined side I'll use under my lip just for a little extra definition. And if you're interested in this product, I'll leave a link down below to my review and demo of it. Now I'm not going to use the shape side to highlight my Cupid's bow, because with liquid lipstick it tends to smear it and it doesn't look good. So finally, I think I'm going to go back into my highlighting palette here and take a little bit of maybe this shade right here, which has just a little bit of peach to it, and I'm going to place that right in the center of my lips. Just for some added light. Alright, finally, we're done. It took me like an hour, but hopefully I can cut this down so it's not horribly long for you to watch. Thank you for watching with me. This is how I make myself presentable, and I hope you enjoyed the eye look. Until next time, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.